A little lesson here tonight. Drought is nothing more than the absence of rain. It's not a disease that can be spread on the wind or some type of an insect. And even though we started out the summer with increasing areas of drought in the northern plains, lately that has been definitely being reduced, at least in most areas. We'll take a look at the drought monitor. Not much heat into the forecast for the entire month of August. I've been saying before we get to the end of the summer, there's one more heat wave in there. That's not looking very likely the way things are looking. And it's the beginning of the tropical storm season, or the peak of it, and that may have some impacts. Let's start with the drought monitor. Still some red in the northern plains. Eastern North Dakota, western Minnesota, things have mostly improved. There's still pockets of severe drought over western North Dakota, Montana, but the areas have improved overall mostly. It's getting a little worse down in southern Iowa, where there are some pockets of fairly extreme drought beginning to show up, but that's a fairly small pocket, not likely to have a huge impact on grain prices. Meanwhile, watch Texas. Right now, things are looking pretty normal. There's a tropical storm that may impact Texas this weekend with some extremely heavy rains, and it's not certain yet. But if that tropical moisture gets drawn up into the mid-latitudes, some parts of the southern Corn Belt could be looking at some extensive rainfall sometime this week. This is going to be a weak hurricane or a tropical system. Where exactly that rain will go, it's not certain, but I think in Texas at least it has the potential to be extremely heavy. If it gets caught up in the westerlies, it may eventually move up into the middle Atlantic states. That remains to be seen. Some of the models are showing most of the moisture remaining in Texas and Mexico. The rest of the nation this week, not a lot of heavy rainfall expected, and the west will continue to be hot and dry. I keep thinking it's going to be one more round of that warm weather spreading out into the northern plains, but really it's just going to be mild to warm across the northern plains and the Corn Belt. Cool weather is threatening, but it doesn't look like it's going to move down yet. Maybe into the Great Lakes by the end of the week. And with one more wave coming in, it may manifest itself by the time we get to the Labor Day weekend. Meanwhile, the heat may start building back into the southern states once the tropical moisture moves out. The second week now, we're talking Labor Day weekend and beyond. A little wave could probably draw a little heat up into the west, and I think it's also going to start drawing very cool weather by the first week of September into parts of the northern plains and the Great Lakes states. Moisture, maybe one round of rain moving up mostly over the eastern Corn Belt and the middle Atlantic states. Most of the high plains and the west is expected to be dry this week. So the drought areas overall continue to be reduced here at the end of this summer. I don't know if there's going to be any more real hot weather in the forecast, and keep an eye on Texas and other parts down south. Could be some extremely heavy rainfall.